The president is a psychopath because he was raised by psychopaths. At least one. Donald Trump's dad raised him to believe, he was actually very mean to his children. And he raised him to believe that everyone's out to get what you have. Everyone wants what you have. And they will take it. They'll take your job. They'll take your house. They'll take your wife. Your best friends can't be trusted. You have no friends. That's what Donald Trump's father preached. So it's no wonder that Donald Trump is a person who sees life that way. And then you add in that he's been very successful being completely unapologetic and unempathic, and because he's been born with the money and the connections, and you get a person who really does not understand the limits of himself or how to fit into the world. He sees the world as something to dominate. He's just starting with America, but listen to the remarks he's making. I mean, my parents would be so embarrassed if I ever said something like, oh yeah, they're all going to come running to me now, and basically calling the rest of the world little pussies, and I'm in control. This is the behavior of a toddler or a bully on the playground. This is the behavior of, clearly, a psychopath. I'm a neurolinguistic practitioner. I specialize in childhood sexual assault-related complex post-traumatic stress syndrome, but I also have decided to come on live with those nasty women every day. We just changed the time to 2, and my book comes out June 1st. And with the largest publicist, I've got I work with Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul and all those series books, for 2 days next week, set up by my publicist. So very excited. When the book comes out June 1st, we will start being on time, and at 2 o'clock every day, I'm going to be on, and I'm going to we're lining up guests and things too. But right now the focus has to be getting the book out. But I have to take time each day to say, I love America. I love my country. And I'm not going to deny that Donald Trump is my president anymore. I'm going to beg forgiveness of the rest of the world and everybody I know who cares about me and us and thinks that we're all crazy or we are in desperate trouble. And both are true. A lot of us are what I call crazy or psychopathic, and the rest of us are in desperate trouble. Because, back to the top, when billionaires are making policy, billionaires who didn't get there honestly, their own way, billionaires who have never suffered, struggled, known what it was like to wonder if you could keep a roof over your kid's head for another month, living paycheck to paycheck, I've seen 2 estimates. One was over 30 and one was 40% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Right? These people aren't investing. These people do have 401ks, though, a lot of them. And now we've seen that go down. I'm not going to tell you the news. You see the news. But these are the moods of a psychopath. And technically speaking, again, there are variances between studies. But one study says that 10% of people can be considered sociopathic, and another one says it's 5% psychopathic. What I have seen is that we have a 6% psychopathic. The point is, some people don't have empathy. And nurture is more important than nature when it comes to something like that. The way that, as a parallel, the way that really, really horrible gangs and Al-Qaeda and other militant groups break children to be soldiers for them is to have them kill their own family members, to force a child to kill their own parents. Once you get someone to kill their own family, their own brother, sister, their own parents, they're yours. They are yours because you have messed up their head sufficiently to where they're never going to come back out of it. So we have a psychopathic president, and we can't change that. We can't change him. But we can change who sits in that seat. And we can do it by every day. Do watch the news, even though it's hard. Don't watch it all day long. I had to give that up too. I have to get the rundown to like stay sane. But we've got to stay in the fight. And we've got to show up. My rally sign, speaking of showing up. And then I got really sick. I spent last night puking over and over. And like, it was terrible. I'm surprised I'm walking right now, to tell you the truth. Living on seltzer and not the alcoholic kind. The blackberry seltzer. But it was worth it. Hopefully I've got the bugs now. With or without a sign, I hope you're showing up. One way or the other. Because I care about a future for my children that does not involve them dying because they need a medical abortion. I had a medical abortion. The doctors immediately, upon discovering that my baby was not moving at 11 weeks, took me in and gave me a D&C, which is the same thing as an abortion. That would be illegal now, even though it was just simply a medical procedure. I mean, it would be arguably illegal, but they would have to prove that the baby was truly deceased. And that would have to go through court before I could get it. I couldn't have just like gone to the next room and done it a few hours later from the ER to the ultrasound to the D&C. Now I would have to go and prove to a court that the baby was indeed deceased. I would have to take ultrasound pictures. I would have to get notarized shit we have to subpoena doctors. You know, by the time I could have had an abortion today, under these circumstances, if at all, I would have been so traumatized. And I've got a daughter-in-law and another almost daughter-in-law, soon-to-be daughter-in-law, and lots of other young women in my life, friends of my sons, and my children's children. And to think that this is happening. And a lot of women my age, I think, are ducking out and just glad it's not them. We've got to stand up for the people we made. I mean, I don't feel okay passing a world to my daughter and my daughter-in-law or anybody, my sons. I don't want my son to have to see his wife die potentially if she has an ectopic pregnancy because she can't have an abortion until her uterine tube explodes, which is ridiculous. Obviously, you can't have a baby out of a uterine tube, but you can't have an abortion until your life is in crisis. These are actually the laws. It's insane. It's happening. And every single day, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to tell you, I'm with you, you're with me. We step up and we go local. We get people in office, like Corey was saying. We get people, start at the local and the regional level. Don't skip your local and regional elections and just vote for the president like it doesn't matter. Those are the people that rise. Those are the people that become your candidates and your representatives. And if you only allow the people in there that can just slide by with the most purchasing power, because we all know you can buy seats now, then there is no democratic future that's real. Then there's a bunch of swindlers swindling, or I'd rather say swindlers swindling. And that is not my vision. That was not what my father taught me was America's vision for the future. And every step we've made in the direction of understanding has been so wonderful, and I thought solid, that it's almost hard to mobilize because of the shock. People my age, I was at the Hands Off rally, and there are a whole row of women older than me. I was the young one. They'd be like my mom if she were alive. So many women in their 70s and 80s out, freezing in the wind with signs. You could see that this is not their MO, way of fun thing to do on a Saturday. There were farmers in Carhartts, old farmers in muddy boots and Carhartts with signs that they made themselves that were like one of them was like, it's a crude sign, but it works, like too many things to name them all was on the sign. So when that many people come together, from young to old, I have to believe that if we mobilize that energy on the local level, then we can get somewhere. We will get somewhere. But we have to make sure that there is an election. So everyone needs to really be focusing on this third term thing and trying somehow to prevent a third term. And if you think it can't happen, they've already got 2 legal arguments that in this conservative Supreme Court could totally fly. Either one of them. So I fully expect them to push for, and for the Supreme Court to say he can have a third term, which means we'd have to outvote the psychopath. And to outvote the psychopath, we're going to need to build from now till then, not wait and get a candidate to the last minute and then go, yay, rah. We need to bolster our towns. It starts in your towns and on your street. It starts at your town halls. You got to get in there. I'm thirsty. So, did I tell you? I did, but I'm going to say it again because it was at the top. Really excited because every time I almost release my book, something bigger happens. Bigger people got involved, more interest, more professional help. And with Steve Harrison's help, I got booked onto over 70 live appearances on podcasts, some morning shows, and a couple of magazines, and some international stuff too, to talk about my book, Call It Assault, My Continuing Efforts to Survive Childhood Sexual Grooming and Assault. And that's the book that's coming out. That's why I'm never on time. We have all kinds of things happening. Like yesterday, I recorded a testimonial for my publicist because, he's already the #1 publicist of self-help books in the world, covering, handling all of Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kellyanne's Bone Broth Diet books, Jack Canfield's Chicken Soup for the Soul. And he called me up yesterday and it's like, you want to go to this? You want to talk with him and work with him for 2 days next week? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So the pretty finished manuscript keeps getting tweaked. And I'm excited because after it gets out June 1st, then I can start speaking in earnest and speaking on behalf of the Consent Awareness Network for legislation to change, because I'm a childhood sexual assault survivor. If you didn't know that, that's really how I got into this live streaming thing. I'm a neurolinguistic practitioner specializing in complex post-traumatic stress syndrome, especially where it's related to childhood sexual assault. And as an adult survivor of 7 years of grooming and assault, my book is both an advocacy for changing the language of society and a guide, a healing guide. It's actually, I have another set that's like the other wall here. How awkward would it be to turn you around just for shits and giggles? Here we go, everybody. TikTok, you can come first, because all I have to do is rotate the stand. Got an execu desk. If you don't have an execu desk and you ever travel or anything, get one. They are amazing. They fold up, they go at any angle. So when I'm doing, there we go. Hello. Bring you up. So this is where I run my workshops. It's literally 3 feet from there. Maybe 2.5. End of the table versus side of the table. Sorry, you guys are a whole different view. I'm vertical over on TikTok. So my book is called Assault, My Continuing Efforts to Survive Childhood Sexual Grooming and Assault. And the cover has changed, but it's still recognizable. Now the fist is down below and it's bigger. And instead of saying this part about the workshop, there's a picture of the cover of the workshop, which is this. Thrive in Spades, 6 Steps from Trigger to Happy CSA cPTSD Workshops. And it's been cleaned up a little bit too. So that's what's going on and how I got into live streaming. It just happened that we are losing our democracy, and I feel I have to put my voice in on that level too. So let's come back. Coming back to, because I really do enjoy my flag set. And my flag set is a flag, like a real actual flag. I used to have the Sweet Shopping group, and since 2017, I just closed it a few weeks ago because of the tax stuff, but I still have like a whole bunch of shelves full of merchandise. So I'm going to be having a Sweet Survivor fundraiser, and I've divided everything into like $5 or $10. I'm selling like $40 10,000 Villages jewelry for, $5 and $10 a piece, as well as other things. So a lot going on there. Oh, forgot about you guys back there. Sorry. Let me tip it down. All right, well. And all you are seeing is my computer. Wow, has it been like that the whole time? I didn't even notice. Sorry about that. Yeah, not a professional. Clearly not a professional. Oh, how are we? Well, I'm going to sign out of here pretty soon anyway. I've screwed up my whole set, and I'm just here to say, I said it's a cult, and I wore this hat and these glasses. And for some reason, I've only got 79 YouTube followers. I could really use some more, thank you. And I put these on, and I got 1,300 in a day views. And I'm like, they must think I'm MAGA. So maybe this will clarify things. Yeah. Those nasty women talk. We'll be talking again tomorrow. The day after. And you know what? Hell with it. I'm going to run for something. Why not? Maybe you should too. Think about it. Something. Why not? Maybe you should too. Think about it.